Oye, mi gente, welcome to the Max Breakdown, where we will be diving into sports news, sports cards, and cultura Dominican style with a twist. Please press like, subscribe, and share. Boy, earthquakes, shockwaves, and cultura. The day baseball changed its DNA. Heartbreak, ticking clock, crowd swell, and bat crack. Familia, hoy no fue un deadline, hoy fue un terremoto de béisbol. Skubal para LA, Rutschman para Boston, Arraez para Phillies, Ray para San Diego, Varsho para Houston, Holmes para Chicago, Hicks para Tampa, Ward para Seattle. This is the 2026 MLB Deadline Mega Episode. Every move, every shockwave, con sabor y cultura. This deadline felt like a telenovela, mixed with a playoff war room. Contenders went nuclear, rebuilders cashed in, rebuilders cashed in big time. Stars flew everywhere. Prospects reshaped futures. Teams rewrote their identity in real time. In real time. The truth of the matter is that besides the Skubal situation, which, I mean, when you look at that situation, he was traded 2 days before the trading deadline. How is that not somewhat fishy? That has to be considered fishy. Unless you're getting a tremendous package where LA is saying, listen, Detroit, I'm going to give you my top prospects, but you got to take it right now. You ain't making that deal. Why? Because you just don't make a deal for the dude that's considered the best trading piece of in baseball, right? Lefty, two-time Cy Young Award, throws 97 plus. I mean, the dude is a beast. So, but wait, and then what makes this even more fishier is that the pieces that went to Detroit, I don't want to say is trash, but they're not top 10. It comes across as players that are bench players. Maybe a dude that, will be serviceable. Maybe. But that's about it. So I don't know. I think that whatever LA is doing, I think every other team needs to figure it out and needs to start doing the same thing. Because it can't be that LA could do it, it's legal, but then every other team is not doing it. Like, how is that not foolish? Like, think about it. If LA could be like, you know what, Otani, you won 700 million. Cool, I'm gonna give it to you, but I'm gonna give it to you in a way where the contract ends in 2040, and he's gonna sign. Then why isn't everybody else doing the same thing? I don't know. So this Skubal thing, um, is probably the only one where other teams weren't able to cash in. Every other team, um, they 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 cashed in. So this is what the Tigers got. They got Zaire Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. You know who know these people? Their parents. None of those dudes. You're like, oh yeah, I know this dude in the minor leagues. I know he's tearing it up. Nobody knows him. So that was trash. But anyway, now you have the Dodgers who have Otani, Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto, and Suzuki, and like two other dudes there. So that pitching team is stacked. How could you possibly not think they're not gonna repeat? They have to be the favorite. Basically, the Dodgers pulled off a highway robbery. They got a Ferrari for a price of a used Hyundai. Okay, um, think about if you on the other side facing the Dodgers and you got Skubal, Yamamoto, Otani, Snell, and Glasnow. Mi gente, it's if these dudes are healthy, October becomes a horror movie. One of the most surprising trades in years happened today, and that was Adley Rutschman to the Boston Red Sox. Listen, I'm not going to be one to tell you I watch every single baseball game and this and that. I mean, I watch the Braves, all the Braves games, but I don't watch other teams, unless they're playing the Braves. But this one really, to me, was shockwaves. Like Adley Rushman, a number one pick, a cornerstone for the Baltimore Orioles, gets traded to a rival same division team. To me, that's just bananas. To me, that doesn't even make sense. Um, who did a Baltimore get? They got a guy named Ellison, whatever, Azokar, Witherspoon, Narvaez, and a player to be named later. Um, but check this out. So not only did Boston get Adley Rushman, they got Jake Rogers. Wow, which is a good piece. It's just he hasn't been healthy. And here's some money. Here's some money. Here, take this off my hands. I don't know. I don't know. To me, there's gonna be a lot to the story. It just, I mean, I don't know. Something's up here. Something is very fishy. Maybe this should have been like when we think about the 2026 trade deadline, it should be called the fishing trade deadline or something because something just doesn't sound right. So, Orioles basically they punted on 2026. Um, according to reports, they traded Rushman because of injuries. Um, Boston adds an elite defense with OBP with OBP, and the Red Sox also added Eli White, Eric Miller, Carlos Gutierrez. Um, you know, whatever, whatever. Um, I have to say that Baltimore is it's either they're either a genius or they're clueless. Um, I don't know what else to say with Baltimore. I mean, this is a team that keeps on making bad decisions over and over again. I don't really know, but you know, when you look at the Brewers, they basically just got back trash. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They got trash back. They got dudes besides Antonio Sensatella, who's a pretty good pitcher. They got Dustin May, who throws hard, but doesn't know how to throw corners. When he gets hit very hard. Jojo Romero, whatever. So I don't know. I think that the Brewers definitely missed out on opportunities to get somebody for that starting rotation. So I don't know. They could have done a lot more. Um, Milwaukee, they had the ammo, they had the moment, and they what they did on the trading deadline is what they do in the playoffs. They folded big time. You know, the other big losers in this is Detroit. They traded Skubal for a bag of balls while still in the race. They were only like 2.5 games back. Um, especially on a very weak AL, like that's unbelievable. And they haven't won a World Series since like 1984. Um, they get Framber Reyes, Framber whatever his name is, um, from Houston. Give him tons of money, almost like 30 million a year, and they just didn't know how to maneuver. They didn't know what to do, and instead of saying, you know what, we're only 2.5 games out, they decided to fold. Like to be honest, if you are a fan of a team like that, the best thing you do is not have expectations because they will break your heart year after year after year. They'll just break your heart. I don't know what to say. You know, they're just heartbreakers. And let me throw a couple of trades. The Cubs did some major things. I think that if there's one team that you could say, you know what, this team really is really going for it. And it's one of those teams that you feel good for because they've been so bad, except for that 2016 year, is the Cubs. The Cubs, they got Clay Holmes, who has a really good like sinker slider. Tyrone Taylor, good pitch piece coming off the bench. Kevin Gosman, uh, who was really good for them for Toronto last year. Braxton Garrett, you know. So at this point, it's one of those where it's like Milwaukee not, you know, Milwaukee missing these opportunities to capitalize? Is it going to be the Cubs taking advantage of that and saying, because you didn't do what you had to do, now we're going to take advantage? Could be. So um, it's no longer a lock that Milwaukee will win that division. Let's keep an eye on what the Cubs are doing. Um, they didn't. The Cubs didn't nibble. They freaking feasted. That's what they did. That the Astros traded for Daulton Varsho. Okay, they got an outfielder. Uh, who do the Blue Jays get? Spencer Arraez, mediocre, I guess, innings eater. But Houston needed a lefty outfielder, and they got one. Uh, Varsho has some power, elite defense, and speed. Um, and the Astros, they rank towards the bottom in outfield fielding. So I guess this works for them. You know, um, you have Luke Weaver that was with the Yankees, and then the Mets going to the Pirates. You have Kirby Yates. He was with the Anaheim Angels, and now he's going to the Pirates. The Pirates also get Lake Bakar or something. From he's going to the Pirates, and the Pirates also gets from the Yankees Camilo Duval. So they're really, really trying to fix that bullpen, which was a weak spot. Um, that they saw like a tremendous bullpen collapse. So now they're definitely going to tighten that. Weaver had a 1.84 ERA. Yates, veteran closer. Bakar adds depth. And Duval is a fireballer. So it's going to be very interesting. Pittsburgh basically rebuilt their bullpen overnight. Um, and the Philadelphia Phillies didn't do anything for their pitching, but they were like, you know what? If I can't get a pitcher, I'm going to get a hitter. And they went out and they got Luis Arraez from San Francisco. And what that does is it moves Harper to the outfield, and Arraez will play first. Um, and Harper basically volunteered to move to the outfield. So Philadelphia Phillies basically get a modern day Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs type of a hitter, and he could even play second base if need be. Uh, Phillies, they're chasing their fifth straight playoff run. Harper said to a reporter, "If we're serious, make a move." And Philly got out and got one in a pure hitter, one of the best pure hitters alive, in getting Luis Arraez. Other minor deals. Rays get Liam Hicks, Tyler Wells. The Padres, my gosh, if I was a betting man, I would have thought that the Padres were going to throw in the towel. They were going to say, you know what, we're out, that's it. But they basically, listen. The reason why I think that they basically did what they did today is because I think that AJ Preller head is on that chopping block. I have to say that I think that because it didn't make sense, to be honest. The Padres called San Francisco and said, I want Robbie Ray. I want Robbie Ray. Whatever it costs, you're gonna get. Then they called Detroit. Hey Detroit, I want Casey Myers. Done. And then another move that just mind boggled me because this would have been a perfect fit for my beloved Atlanta Braves was to get Joe Adele, and they did not. So the Angels made a deal with the Guardians, and they got a pretty good hitter, man. Because that Joe Adele could hit. Uh, the Mariners got Taylor Ward. Only his parents know him. The Rangers, what they did, they basically DFA'd 40-something-year-old Chris Martin and traded for Adam Macko. Only his mother knows him. Some teams made headlines. Other made chess moves. At the end of the day, that's basically what happened. So one thing that really upset me was that from the before the season started, the Atlanta Braves were one of those teams that it was well known that they had to get another frontline starter. It was known they have to get another frontline starter. It can't be, Chris Sale because we can't depend on Spencer Strider and Schwellenbach is injured, and all these AJ Smith Shawver is injured. Like all these other dudes they're hurt. And listen, I thought they were gonna get a Tarik Skubal. To be honest, I thought they would be like, you know what? Let me let me get the shopping cart. Let me pull that cart and let me get Skubal. Let me get Joe Adele. Let me get this guy. Let me get that guy. They did nothing like that. Nothing. They basically got a couple of dudes that are decent at best. Decent at best. When you talk about Lane Thomas, they say, "Oh yeah, he hits left-handed pitching very well." So if you're gonna come at me with he hits left-handed pitching very well, right away I'm gonna say, "Oh, so basically he can't hit righties." Right? So he can't hit righties. So basically he is if so and so is gonna pitch today, let's put Lane Thomas out in the outfield. That's stupid. That doesn't make sense, right? Then they get a guy that throws 80 miles an hour in Brent Suter. All reports is elite control. Okay, I get it. I'll be the first one to tell you that speed ain't everything. As a matter of fact, the harder you throw, the harder it could go back. Cool. But when you're playing in the major leagues, you gotta throw harder than 80 something miles an hour. Because what these hitters are going to do is say, I know that your bread and butter is your off speed pitch, but you're not gonna blow me away with your fastball. I'm just gonna stay back. And I'm gonna protect this box, this zone. And if you pitch anywhere close, I'm just gonna bang it out. I'm gonna swing out of my shoes. So I haven't seen this dude pitch, to be honest, in years. I could only hope that if he's in his 11th major league season, that talks for himself. So I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. But in reality, the Braves didn't fulfill their needs. They basically maybe tightened up the bullpen a little bit and added a little bit of a better hitter than Eli White, but nothing to where it's like, oh, let's go. This team is ready for the postseason. No. So I'm just hoping that the general manager of the Braves, Alex, that he knows what the heck he's doing, because all I know is that you look to that National League West, and you're looking at the Avengers over there. I mean, those dudes are. That's an all-star team. You could basically say, I'm gonna take the whole National League team, the all-star team of the National League, and of the American League, and make one team, and we're gonna face the Dodgers. You could straight up say that team is a bunch of all-star. I don't even want to know. Well, I'm curious to know what a ticket to go and see the Dodgers cost. I mean, is it $500 to be up in the bleachers? I mean, I don't know how I don't know how they'll be able to afford these dudes. How can they afford these dudes? I don't know how they do it. They must have a tremendous marketing team. They must have great TV. What is it? TV money. They must be doing something. I don't know. But anyway, my Braves disappointed today in the trade deadline. Um, Cubs was fantastic. Uh, you know, LA got the big shark, and the Yankees. The Yankees got. They weren't able to really address the pitching, but they got two center fielders, Elio Ramos and the other dude. So the Yankees, they did their thing. The Yank. The second baseman for from Washington. He's real good. So the Yankees, they weren't able to do the pitching, but they addressed the hitting. And basically, you went from LA dominance to Detroit heartbreak. Let's add the Braves heartbreak, from Boston gamble to Phillies fire, from Houston fix to San Diego surge. This deadline changed baseball DNA. And, mi gente, that is the breakdown for today. Walk with faith, walk with faith again, move with purpose, and don't let anyone shake your spirit. This is Max, el que te lo dice claro, and I'll see you in the next one.